Dominic Toretto is a fictional character and the lead protagonist of the Fast and the Furious series. He is portrayed by Vin Diesel and was created by screenwriter Gary Scott Thompson. Dom is introduced in the first film of the series The Fast and the Furious. He later appears in Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and Furious 7, as well as the short film Los Bandoleros and a cameo role at the end of The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift. The role put Diesel on Hollywood's A-list, and won him the 2002 MTV Movie Award for Best On-Screen Team with Paul Walker. Diesel's portrayal of the character has been given much of the credit for the longevity of the film series, and the actor has become strongly identified with the character. Development: The Fast and the Furious film series was inspired by an article on street racing, Racer X, that appeared in the May 1998 issue of Vibe magazine. Having witnessed his father's death in a stock car race, Dominic is left with the responsibility of watching his younger sister, Mia Toretto, and leading the racers dependent on him. Vin Diesel was reportedly paid $2.5 million to star as Dominic Toretto in The Fast and the Furious and $15 million to star in and produce Fast 5. Appearances: Dominic Toretto is an Italian-American elite street racer, auto mechanic, and ex-convict. The character is the brother of Mia Toretto and love interest Letitia Letty Ortiz. Throughout the series, Dominic's crew has perpetrated many high-speed semi-hijackings, stealing millions of dollars in merchandise. He has spent most of his life running from the law. In The Fast and the Furious, Dominic runs his own automotive garage while Mia takes care of the family's grocery store in Echo Park. He also runs his own street race team, which consists of Letty, Vince, Leon, and Jesse. Dominic has bad blood with Vietnamese-American rival Johnny Tran due to a business deal that went sour and Tran catching Dominic sleeping with his sister. Unknown to the public, he and his team drive black Honda Civic coupes and stage daring semi-hijackings on the freeways, taking home millions of dollars in electronic appliances. He forms a friendship with rookie racer Brian L. Spillner, who saves him from arrest when the LAPD raid a street race gathering. During the race wars, Johnny Tran blames Dominic. The SWAT forces came into his house causing his family to disrespected him for being nassed out by Brian, causing Dominic to attack him and is promptly led away by Vince, who then tells him to chill out. During a hijacking job gone wrong, Dominic discovers Brian's true identity as undercover LAPD officer named Brian O'Connor. Following a drag race that ends with Dominic's 1970 Dodge Charger getting totaled, Brian hands him the keys to his Toyota Supra, allowing him to escape and flee to Mexico. In The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, Dominic makes a cameo appearance at the end of the film by challenging Sean Boswell in a drift race with his gunmetal silver 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner, which he won from his late friend Han. In Los Bandoleros, Dominic recruits Han Solo, Rico Santos, and Tigo Leo to help him complete a job that is seen in the beginning of Fast and Furious. In Fast and Furious, Dominic, Letty, and their gang lead a successful hijacking of a gasoline tanker in the Dominican Republic, but he shortly abandons them to keep the authorities away from them. Dominic returns to L.A. upon hearing of the death of Letty at the hands of Phoenix Calderon. He and Brian once again team up to take down Mexican drug dealer Arturo Briga, who had ordered Letty's execution following a drug run. He later finds out it was Brian was the last person who contacted Letty. This enrages him and beats Brian before he could explain to him that Letty came for him for clearing his name so Dominic could return to Los Angeles. After successfully extraditing Briga back to the U.S., Dominic turns himself into the authorities and is sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. However, the bus carrying Dominic is ambushed by Brian, Mia, Rico and Tigo. Once Dominic is sprung out of the bus wreckage, the group flees out of the U.S. as fugitives. In Fast 5, Dominic reunites with Brian, Mia and Vince in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. They get involved in a dangerous crossfire with drug lord Hernan Reyes, who has them framed for the murder of 3 DEA agents during a drug run on a train. As a means to get even on Reyes, Dominic and Brian form a team with Roman Pierce, Tej Parker, Han, Giselle Yashar, Riego Antiguo to stage a bank heist and steal Ray's stash of $100 million in cash. Elite bounty hunter and DSS federal agent Luke Hobbs is sent to Brazil to hunt down and capture Dominic and his gang, but when he is ambushed by Ray's men, he forms an unlikely alliance with Dominic and helps the gang execute their heist. After killing Ray's, Hobbs allows Dominic and his gang to leave Brazil with their stash. Hobbs' partner Elena Neves also leaves the force and becomes Dominic's new love interest. In Fast and Furious 6, Dominic once again encounters Hobbs, who offers him a job to help him hunt down mercenary Owen Shaw and his crime syndicate, revealing that Letty is alive, meaning Phoenix must have failed to kill her and is working for Shaw. Dominic and Brian reassemble their gang in London for this mission in exchange for a full pardon on all parties and Letty's safe return. During the chase, Dominic is shot by Letty, and later on discovers that she is suffering from amnesia as a result of the explosion that nearly killed her in Fast and Furious. He saves her from falling to her death while the gang stops Shaw aboard a military tank on a bridge in Spain. Shaw, however, reveals his backup plan of kidnapping Mia and using her as leverage for his release and the handing of the top-secret microchip that was removed from the tank. Despite the death of Giselle, Dominic and his gang kill Shaw and his men while saving Mia and the microchip in a daring chase at a NATO military airfield. Hobbs grants their pardons, and Dominic and his gang move back to his home in LA. Seeing Dominic and Letty back together for good, Elena bids him farewell and returns to working with Hobbs. In a post-credit scene, a man related to Owen Shaw kills her in Tokyo and calls Dom with a threatening message. Characterization: Dominic has been described as a gruff but affectionate father to his loyal pack of renegades, providing them with barbecue, protection, and a rough moral code to live by. Vin Diesel has described Dominic as a character who is strong, who is a caretaker. In contrast to Brian's estranged relationship with his father, Dominic is shown to put family first, and be very protective of Mia. He is also implied to be religious, insisting that all members in a dinner table say grace and that the first person to take a bite must bless the meal. In The Fast and the Furious, Dominic's violent behavior stems from a traumatic incident during his teenage years, when his father, a stock car racer, was killed in a race after a driver named Kenny Linder accidentally sent him to the wall at 120 mph. Enraged by his father's death, Dominic attacked Linder a week later with a torque wrench and left him hospitalized with severe head injuries. Dominic served time in juvenile hall and was banned from racing for the assault. He nearly replicates the action while fighting Hobbs in Fast 5, only to miss Hobbs' head by an inch when Mia begs him to stop. In Fast 5, Dominic recalls the influence his father had on him. After helping Mia with her homework every day and sending her to bed, he would stay up late reading the next chapter, to make sure he could help her the next day. On Sundays, the family would attend church and host a barbecue for the neighborhood. Those who did not attend church would not get any barbecue. Cars: Dominic's Charger. In 3 of the films, Dom drives his deceased father's black 1970 Dodge Charger. In the first film, Dom tells Brian that he and his father built the 900-horsepower car, but that he had never driven it, because it scares the shit out of him. Dom uses it to help Brian by attacking one of Tran's henchmen. He later races Brian's Supra with it. However, he totals it when he collides with a truck. In Fast and Furious he sees that Letty has rebuilt it for him, as she was hoping that he would return to the United States. Later in the film, Dom takes it to Mexico and shields Brian's car with it, but destroys it by running into a stack of propane canisters in the tunnels. In the final scene of the film, Brian is shown to have rebuilt it, and Dom recognizes the sound of the engine while riding in a prison bus. In Fast 5, it is shown that Brian brakes in front of the bus, causing the bus to collide with it and flip. Dom uses it throughout the film to win cars to test for their vault heist. Meanwhile, Hobbs uses it to track the location of Dom's gang by having his men check camera feeds for a 1970 Charger. When Hobbs comes to arrest Dom, he crashes his Gurkha F5 into his Charger, cutting it in half, which triggers a fight between the pair. The car goes through some changes. In the first film, it is silver trimmed, while in the fourth film it is black trimmed, with an extra grille cover. In the fifth film it is matte black, with black wheels and the intake removed. The car has been in a series of promotions. Cartown offered the versions from both the first and fifth films, while Mafia Wars offered the first. In Fast and Furious 6, Dom gives his nephew Jack a die-cast replica of his black Charger, hoping to keep him away from Brian's habits of favoring imports. Later in the film, Dom drives a blood-red customized Dodge Charger Daytona, which is acquired by Tej Parker at a car auction in London. While it is not the same car as his signature black Charger, it is a direct nod to the Charger. Car list, references. External links, Dominic Toretto at the Internet Movie Database.